These 6 emotional triggers are so deep, even women don't realize they control who they fall for. But they do. Every time. No matter how strong or independent she seems, these triggers bypass logic and go straight into her instincts. And if you don't understand them, you'll keep wondering why you're doing everything right and still being treated like an option, still ghosted, still disrespected. You'll keep giving everything, only to be thrown aside like it meant nothing. But I'm not here to sugarcoat anything, because you've been lied to. You've been told that if you're nice, respectful, always available, and endlessly understanding, you'll be loved back. But if you've ever tried that in real life, you know exactly where that road leads. To pain, to confusion, to losing yourself trying to win someone who doesn't even see your value. The truth is, women are not attracted to men for the reasons society wants you to believe. And until you start seeing through that fog, your life, your peace, and your power will keep being handed over on a silver platter to someone who never deserved it. This video is your turning point. And if you feel that in your chest, comment, "I'm done chasing." Number 1, the bad boy effect. There's a reason why the man she obsesses over is rarely the one who gives her everything she claims to want. The more predictable you are, the less her emotions are activated. And no matter what the movies, media, and influencers try to sell you, attraction isn't built on logic, it's built on tension. You can give her flowers, compliments, texts every morning, affection without limits. And yet she still pulls away, scrolls through her phone in your presence, flakes on plans, gets colder every day. You think giving more will fix it, when in truth, the more you give without her earning it, the more she loses respect. It's not because she's cruel, it's because deep down, she's hardwired to chase emotional spikes, uncertainty, and the man who isn't already wrapped around her finger. She doesn't want a doormat. She wants someone who's grounded in himself, a man who doesn't lose his path for her attention. The bad boy isn't attractive because he treats her like trash. He's attractive because he treats himself like a priority. And in a world of men who bend over backwards just to not be alone, the man who doesn't need anyone becomes the prize. This doesn't mean you fake being distant. It means you stop neglecting your purpose for temporary pleasure. Women want to feel something, challenge, mystery, a sense of being pulled into a life more exciting than their own. But when you're the one doing all the chasing, giving all the effort, investing all your time while she barely reciprocates, you flip the polarity, and she becomes the one with the power. You stop being the man. You start becoming the follower. That's when she loses respect, even if she doesn't say it. You see, she may smile when you drop everything for her. She might say she appreciates your constant messages. She may thank you for being so available. But behind all those words is one undeniable truth. She's not feeling anything. No tension, no excitement, no desire. The man who gives too easily becomes invisible. You don't get her love by sacrificing your self-worth. You earn her admiration by refusing to compromise your path. It's not about being toxic. It's about being centered, stoic, firm. The kind of man who says no when it's necessary, who keeps his schedule, who works towards something greater than just her approval. You are not here to be her emotional support pet. You're not her savior. You're not her therapist. You are a man on a mission. And if she wants to be part of your life, she needs to feel like it's a privilege, not a given. You don't give your time freely to someone who hasn't earned it. You don't adjust your values for short-term validation. Your presence has to be earned. You must be willing to walk away, no matter how attractive she is, if she disrespects your time, your purpose, your standards. That's when she starts chasing, when she sees you won't beg, when she realizes your world doesn't stop just because she's around, when you make it clear that you won't tolerate being an afterthought. Women respect the man who walks away calmly, silently, without drama. And here's what most men never learn. The less emotional effort you spend trying to convince her to stay, the more space you give her to miss you. When you make her chase your attention, instead of giving it freely without qualification, that's when she values it. That's when she respects you. That's when she starts seeing you differently, not as one of the many, but as one of the rare few she cannot control. That's when her attraction becomes irrational, emotional, real. So stop being available for the wrong reasons. Stop rewarding flakiness. Stop pouring yourself into someone who hasn't earned a sip. Step back, refocus. Redirect all the energy you waste chasing her into building the man you were meant to become. Train your mind, push your body, chase purpose, not people. Every hour you spend trying to fix a woman's lack of interest is an hour taken away from your future greatness. Every ignored red flag, every overcompensating message, every time you rearrange your day for someone who barely sees your worth, it costs you more than you realize. The bad boy wins not because he's dangerous. He wins because he doesn't chase. He lets her feel the distance. He gives her the gift of missing him, and that's something she'll never get from the man who never leaves. If you want to be respected, desired, remembered, be the man who doesn't need her to validate his value. Be the man who keeps walking even when she hesitates. That's when she looks back. That's when she regrets. That's when she starts chasing. You are the prize. Stop acting like you're waiting to be chosen. And if you're ready to fully live that truth, I've put everything you need inside the Stoic relationship. Blueprint, a powerful guide built on timeless Stoic principles that will reshape how you show up in love, in life, and in yourself. This isn't another surface-level dating book. It's the exact mindset shift you've been craving, one that finally silences the confusion, overthinking, and emotional chaos that's been draining your confidence for years. And now, for the first time, it's available as an audiobook, so you can absorb this life-altering wisdom while walking, driving, training, or clearing your mind. The link is in the comments. This is knowledge you don't just read. It's a blueprint you live by daily. And once you own it, it's yours for life. No games, just pure grounded power always at your fingertips, ready every time life tries to knock you off center. Don't let another day pass following the same patterns. Grab the audiobook, hit play, and step into the version of yourself you've always known was waiting. Number 2. Confidence. Confidence isn't a quote on a t-shirt. It's not an Instagram caption. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's not the guy who brags the most. It's the man who knows, truly knows, that he doesn't need external approval to feel whole. It's the calm presence of someone who could explain himself, but never feels the need to. The truth is, you can't fake this. You can try. You can wear the designer clothes, speak louder than necessary, buy expensive distractions, but the moment a woman feels emotional inconsistency, she sees through it. Women are wired to detect weakness. Not physical weakness, emotional instability. The moment she senses that your peace is dependent on her response, her interest dies. Because a man who gets thrown off by her pulling away, a man who starts panicking when she delays a reply, a man who gets jealous over imagined scenarios, that man is no longer grounded. He's controlled, not by her directly, but by the fear of losing her. Real confidence doesn't seek to keep her. It's rooted in the idea that if she wants to go, the door is open, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. You are not here to convince anyone to stay. And when a woman feels that, when she feels that your life goes on with or without her, that's when she starts seeing you differently. That's when her mind starts playing its own tricks. Why isn't he fighting for me like the others? Why does he seem so calm? Does he have someone else? And that's not manipulation. That's what emotional security looks like. You become the lighthouse in her ocean of emotional storms. While others react, you remain still. While others beg, you observe. While others lose themselves in her chaos, you hold your ground. But here's the catch. Confidence is not built in front of her. It's not something you perform when you're around women. It's something you become in your solitude, in your training, in your focus, in the way you wake up on time, in the way you stick to your goals even when no one's watching, in the way you tell yourself the truth and face your flaws. It's in the way you don't break your own rules. The man who betrays himself for a woman cannot lead her, and she knows it, even if she can't explain it. She'll say you're too available. She'll say the spark is gone. But what she really means is this. She felt you collapse in her presence. And once she feels that, once she sees that your identity depends on her affection, she loses the desire to be close. Because desire doesn't grow in the presence of emotional need. It grows in the presence of emotional sovereignty, when you're whole, when your mind is stable, when your actions aren't reactions. You want to develop this? Stop trying to impress women. Impress yourself. Keep promises to yourself. Stay disciplined when it's inconvenient. Set standards and protect them. Don't just say you're a man of value. Live it. Show it. Prove it to yourself every day in the dark, so that in the light, you don't need to say a word. Confidence isn't about thinking you're better than anyone. It's about knowing you don't have to prove it to anyone. It's about entering a room without needing to be noticed. It's about walking away from disrespect, not because you're cold, but because you know what you bring. And if she can't see that, you're not afraid to let her go. That's power, that's peace, that's freedom. And that's the kind of man every woman remembers, long after you've stopped calling. Because while others try to keep her interest by overperforming, over-texting, oversharing, you do the opposite. You become so grounded in who you are that she has no choice but to question why she's not the center of your universe. You don't explain. You don't chase. You simply keep becoming more of who you are. That's what draws her in. That's what she respects. And that's what makes you untouchable. Number 3. Ignored attention. The fastest way to lose a woman's interest is by making her your priority when you're not even her option. Men do this every day without realizing they're slowly erasing their own value, not with one big mistake, but with 100 small moments of self-betrayal. Replying instantly to texts, rearranging their day for a woman who flakes repeatedly, giving constant compliments, dropping hints of affection in every interaction, while receiving the bare minimum in return. You feel like if you just show her how much you care, if you just stay consistent, patient, nice, loving, and always there, she'll see your worth and choose you. But she won't. She won't respect you for your availability. She won't admire you for giving what she never asked for. She won't fall for you because you're emotionally open, expressive, and overly invested. She'll take it for granted, not because she's heartless, but because that's what humans do. We devalue what's always there. Attention is currency, and when you give it without any scarcity or boundaries, its value drops to zero. You become noise, white noise, always present, always accessible, always forgotten. Think about how many times you've double-texted, waited all day for a reply, checked if she viewed your story, wondered what you did wrong because she suddenly stopped showing interest after you showed your intentions. It's not your honesty that turned her off. It's your energy. It's the imbalance. You gave her the experience of being pursued without giving her the emotional tension of wondering if she earned it. There's no chase, no mystery, no uncertainty, and while your mind thinks stability is love, her emotions crave contrast. When she doesn't have to work for your attention, she starts to assume it has no weight. The modern man is drowning in validation-seeking behaviors, constantly trying to earn a woman's presence through affection, But the irony is brutal. The more available you are, the more invisible you become. If she knows you'll text her back within seconds, she'll stop wondering if you're busy. If she knows you'll always say yes to plans, she'll start feeling like you have no life of your own. If she senses you're trying too hard, her instincts whisper that you must not be wanted by anyone else, because when you're the prize, your attention is rare. It's not a faucet she controls. It's a gift that must be earned. So stop giving her emotional luxuries she hasn't worked for. Pull your energy back, not to manipulate her, but to restore balance, to heal your own neediness, to prove to yourself that your peace is more important than her replies. Learn to sit with silence without chasing it. Learn to go to bed without checking your phone 100 times. Learn to stay focused on your mission, even when you're unsure of her feelings. That's emotional power. That's how you create desire, not through constant presence, but through purposeful distance. When you disappear from her radar, you become a question. When you stop rewarding low effort, you create contrast. And when you stop pouring into a cup with no bottom, you finally start filling your own. Real value isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout for attention. It lets its absence be felt. You must become so invested in your own growth that chasing her becomes a distraction, not a goal. You must become so complete within that your worth is felt without explanation. And if she doesn't notice your absence, then your presence was never respected. Let that be your answer. Walk away. Focus harder. Work on becoming so powerful that the next time a woman meets you, she feels your value before you even speak, because you're no longer trying to be chosen. You're choosing yourself. That's the kind of man who commands attention without ever asking for it. Number 4. Emotional intelligence. The moment you let her emotions dictate your behavior, you lose control, not just over the relationship, but over yourself. Most men walk blindly into emotional traps, laid not with malicious intent, but instinct. She doesn't always know she's testing you, but she does. She cancels plans last minute, just to see how you'll respond. She starts drama over nothing, just to feel something. She tells you stories about other men, not because she likes them, but to watch your reaction. And the weak man reacts. He gets jealous. He explains. He argues. He pleads. He fights to win her emotional approval. But the grounded man doesn't flinch. He doesn't beg for clarity. He doesn't compete for her attention. He doesn't get drawn into emotional spirals because he doesn't hand over his power just to keep her calm. That's emotional control. That's the kind of presence that creates deep, lasting attraction. When you stop reacting to her emotional roller coaster, she starts feeling your stability. And in a chaotic world, where most men collapse at the first sign of feminine pressure, your calm becomes rare. Understand this. Women don't test you to destroy you. They test you to feel you. They want to know, can he lead? Can he handle stress? Will he fold when things get hard? She may not verbalize it, but she watches your every move. When you get angry because she's distant, when you panic because she says she needs space, when you raise your voice because she disrespects you, you expose your instability. And in that moment, she knows. You're not ready. You don't lead your emotions. Your emotions lead you. And she can't trust a man who hasn't mastered himself. If you're constantly confused, second-guessing, walking on eggshells just to keep her happy, you're not leading. You're surviving. You're not being strong. You're being reactive. And when you live like that, you never get respect. You get tolerated until someone stronger comes along. So how do you stop being that man? By becoming your own observer. Every time you feel the need to react, pause. Every time you want to send that long emotional message, stop. Every time your ego wants to defend itself, breathe. Emotional intelligence isn't about never feeling. It's about never letting those feelings override your standards. She will try to pull you out of your frame. She'll do it with her silence, with her teasing, with her games. And when you stay centered, when you don't give in, when you continue moving forward on your own timeline, she feels something she rarely feels with modern men: respect. And that respect grows into trust, and trust grows into desire, not the shallow kind based on looks or status, the deep, magnetic kind rooted in emotional leadership. Because that's what emotional intelligence really is: leadership. Over yourself, over the situation, over the energy between you. You must become the one who decides the tone, the one who doesn't escalate, the one who doesn't fold, the one who walks away when necessary without resentment. And when you live like that, you stop being easily moved. You stop being emotionally hijacked. You stop being manipulated by temporary moods. You start seeing through chaos, through games, through tests. And that clarity becomes your power. The man who feels everything but responds to nothing that isn't aligned with his values, that man is untouchable. He becomes the calm in the middle of every storm. And while other men run in circles trying to fix, please, or decode her emotions, you stay rooted in purpose. That's how you win, not by overpowering her, not by emotionally submitting, but by standing still when everything else moves. By keeping your word when everything screams at you to break it, by staying focused when others fall apart. That's the man she follows. That's the man she respects. And that's the man you're becoming. Number 5. Ambition. There's no greater repellent to attraction than a man with no direction. You think being emotionally available, always there, always kind, always ready to adjust to her schedule, makes you stand out. But the reality is brutal. The man with no purpose becomes an emotional placeholder until she finds the man with one. A man without a mission becomes the default, the nice guy she keeps around to fill the silence, the one she reaches out to when she's bored, the one she strings along while she dreams about someone else. And it's not always cruel. Sometimes even she doesn't understand why she's pulling away, why she's bored, why she's no longer responding with the same excitement. But her instincts know. They feel what your presence communicates, even if your words are perfect. When she senses that you are not building anything, when she feels that your time is only spent waiting for her replies, when she observes that your life pauses until she says yes, her subconscious decides, this is not a man I can follow. She doesn't need you to be rich. She doesn't need you to be famous. She doesn't even need you to be the smartest guy in the room. But she needs to feel that you are going somewhere, that your days are filled with effort, that you are chasing a standard so high, so meaningful, that her approval is not the most valuable thing in your world. Because the truth is simple. Women don't admire comfort. They admire conquest. They want to witness your climb, your battles, your resilience. But most men live without fire. They wake up late. They scroll through their phones. They fantasize about success but do nothing to create it. They talk about goals but move like spectators in their own lives. And then they wonder why she isn't loyal, why she doesn't chase, why she stopped caring. The answer is painful, because you stopped being worth following. Attraction is emotional, yes, but respect is foundational. And a woman cannot desire what she does not respect. If she feels like you have all the time in the world, she will believe your time holds no weight. If your dreams shift to match her whims, she will believe you have none. If your days revolve around her availability, she will believe you are replaceable. But when you become the man who wakes up with intention, who plans his hours, who executes even when he's tired, she begins to feel something rare. She feels admiration, and admiration is the gateway to loyalty, desire, obsession. You must become so driven, so locked in, that a woman knows being with you means being part of something bigger. And if she can't match it, she knows she will get left behind. That's the polarity that makes women level up. That's the structure that makes them want to submit. Not because you demand it, but because your presence demands growth. You are not here to entertain her boredom. You are here to build an empire, whatever that means for you. It could be your business, your body, your mind, your craft. But it has to be real. It has to cost you effort. It has to hurt a little every day. Because without that pain, without that purpose, you become weak, passive, soft. And nothing repels attraction faster than emotional softness, pretending to be love. She doesn't want your availability. She wants your absence to mean something. She wants to know that when you're not texting, it's not because you're playing games. It's because you're building something she can't ignore. And if you want to ignite this within yourself, stop chasing motivation. Chase consistency. Wake up earlier than you want to. Train your body with aggression. Learn skills that take years to master. Study when you're tired. Speak less. Move more. And never let her or anyone else become your reason for existing. A man with ambition is rare, not because dreams are rare, but because discipline is. Everyone wants more. Few are willing to sacrifice for it. And the man who sacrifices, who gives up comfort, distraction, laziness, that man becomes magnetic. His silence speaks louder. His time becomes a reward. His presence becomes scarce, respected, craved. And suddenly, women aren't confused by him. They're inspired. They don't wonder if he's too busy. They hope they're valuable enough to be part of his day. Because ambition rewires the dynamic. It makes you the prize again. And once you experience that, once you feel what it's like to have women align with your vision instead of you aligning with theirs, you will never go back to chasing. You will never settle for being loved for your softness when you can be respected for your strength. So become obsessed, relentless, stoic in your pursuit. You don't owe the world your comfort. You owe yourself your potential. And the moment you start moving like that, everything changes. Number 6. Masculinity. The world today doesn't want you to be strong. It wants you to apologize for being assertive. It wants you to shrink yourself to make others feel more comfortable. It wants you to doubt your instincts, question your nature, suppress your edge. But the cost of rejecting your masculinity is immense. It leaves you hollow, confused, lost in relationships, disrespected in society, and weak where you're meant to be strongest. And no matter how much you suppress it, no matter how much you try to fit in by softening yourself, women know when you've let go of your core. They can feel when you're disconnected from your role. They may say they want a nice guy, but they follow the man who leads. They may praise emotional openness, but they chase the man who protects without asking for validation. They may say equality, but they gravitate toward hierarchy. Because attraction is not based on what she says. It's based on how you make her feel. And when you are passive, apologetic, indecisive, constantly seeking consensus, you make her feel unsafe. Not in the physical sense, in the emotional and primal sense. She doesn't feel like she can lean into your strength because you have none. She doesn't feel like she can follow your lead because you don't take any. She doesn't feel like she can relax into her feminine because you're already living in it. Masculinity is not abuse. It's not arrogance. It's not control. It's leadership. It's decisiveness. It's structure. It's the refusal to fold under pressure. It's the ability to protect without performance. And most of all, it's the quiet power of a man who doesn't need permission to be what nature built him to be. Look at your life. Are you leading it, or are you reacting to it? Do you make decisions and own them, or do you wait for others to guide you? Do you have boundaries that you enforce with action, or do you tolerate disrespect because you're afraid of conflict? These questions cut deep because they expose weakness, and every weakness you deny becomes the very reason she leaves, the very reason people overlook you, The very reason life doesn't respect you. If you're not respected, you won't be desired. If you're not stable, you won't be trusted. If you're not assertive, you won't be followed. Your masculinity is not toxic. It's necessary. For your relationships, for your success, for your mental peace. The man who embraces it becomes a pillar. The kind of man others look to in chaos. The kind of man who isn't swayed by opinion. The kind of man who doesn't need to scream to be heard, because his actions speak for him. His energy speaks louder than his words. And women, whether they admit it or not, become emotionally addicted to that kind of presence. They remember that man. They want to be around that man, because he feels rare, real, reassuring. If you want to cultivate this, start by removing the behaviors that have made you soft. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't respect you. Stop seeking approval from people who wouldn't follow you if you had it. Stop allowing your life to be dictated by fear, comfort, or validation. Build your body because strength matters, not for show, for presence. Master your emotions because storms will come. And when they do, the man who stands calm, who doesn't flinch, who doesn't beg, becomes the anchor everyone else grabs onto. Learn to say no, learn to walk away, learn to enforce your standards with silence. And most importantly, never abandon your principles for temporary peace. That's what separates a grounded man from a people pleaser. That's what creates real attraction. That's what makes women follow without needing to be told. Masculinity is the art of being immovable when others bend, of standing firm when tested, of leading not through dominance, but through certainty. You become the kind of man others want to be around, not because you demand it, but because your presence reminds them what it feels like to be safe, stable, unshakable. And that kind of man is no longer chasing validation. He is the validation, the protector, the leader, the man who moves forward whether he's loved or hated. That's real strength. That's your edge. Don't lose it. Don't trade it. Don't suppress it. Sharpen it. Live it. And watch the world respond in ways you never imagined. If you're tired of being overlooked, disrespected, and endlessly chasing women who never truly saw your value, this is your moment to reclaim everything you've given away. No more excuses, no more guessing. The Stoic relationship blueprint is the exact reset your life has been begging for, a powerful guide filled with timeless Stoic principles that instantly shift how you think, lead, and attract. And now, it's finally available in audiobook format, so you can carry this wisdom with you on your walks, during workouts, or while building the life that no one can take from you. It's not just a book. It's a lifelong weapon of truth, ownership, and peace that will stay with you forever. The link is in the comments. Get it, play it, live it. And if you're truly ready to never chase again, comment, "I lead, I don't chase," like this video, and subscribe to help wake up the next man before he wastes another decade of his life living blind to these truths.